the edge of the world, telling stories of black kings and queens.
It's Utah, baby.
Every topic, every voice, like a new kind of pearl. Shining light on truths to make the future swirl. It's real talk, baby. Frank and Shy Blue coming through, baby. Real topics, real stuff for the people, baby. Buckle up and let's roll with real talk, baby. It's real talk, baby. It's real talk, baby. It's real talk, baby. And it ain't no me without you, baby. It's you talk, baby. And it ain't no me without you, baby. From the heart of the city to the edge of the world.
It's Utah, baby.
Black kings and queens, but both that I'm from. Every time we carry.
All right, now we got some surprises for y'all tonight. Real Talk family, how y'all doing? You tuned in to Real Talk right here on the U-Talk Network, and y'all know how we start every show. Ain't no us without you, baby. As I said, we got some surprises here tonight. We got a very, very live show that we about to get cranked off with. And the first surprise I'm going to do, as y'all know, I do the business and do the shout outs rather. So the first surprise that I got is going to be with the first shout out that I usually give. First shout out of the night, as always, has to go to the man, the myth, the legend, the proprietor, and the creator of U-Talk himself, the boss. And guess what? The boss is here tonight. The boss is rolling with me, shotgun here tonight. Now, let me bring the boss up in here. First shout out of the night. There he is, the man, as they know him as D. What up, boss? What's happening?
Larry Frank Jr., man. What's going on tonight, Larry Frank, man? How you doing tonight, my brother?
We blessed, man. Blessed, and we avoiding stress. And for everybody that's watching, you know, we just want to let y'all know, boss man is in tonight, filling in for my sis. My sis had to take care of some stuff, so she could not be on tonight. What's up? Hey, oh, what's up, baby?
Oh, what up?
Sis couldn't be on tonight. She'll be back real soon. She had to take care of some business. So, sis, if you're watching, shouts out to you. Be careful. We love you, and we'll see you when we see you. So
That's right.
Second shout out of the night has to go to the super producer, the man that keeps the technicals and everything rolling and keeps us in line and keeps us up and running.
KJ Production in your
I got the sound effect tonight, y'all. The man himself, Mr. Marquise Judge. As you already heard, KJ Productions is in the building. Thank you, Marquise, for keeping us going and keeping all the technicals rolling. Third shout out of the night is actually going to be our special guest and his lovely wife. But before we bring him in, I got to still give him his proper shout out because he is going to let me know about it if I don't. So third shout out of the night, as always, has to go to the man behind the merchandise, the man behind the designs, Mr. Jack of all trades. As I always tell you, he's got a million names. Government name, Joseph Bernard. Chat name, B. Nod. What's the other one you always going with?
Living single.
Living single. Overton, Wakefield, Bernard.
Yeah.
Like when I see him, I'm gonna do just like Overton and Kyle, be like Boss Dog, tat out, just like they used to do on Living Single. Tat out. Shouts out to our brother, man. I call him JB. Because he's straight boss status, man. Mr. Joseph Bernard. Shouts out to you, brother. Thank you for all that you do merchandise wise. Fourth shout out of the night, as always, has to go to the live viewing audience right here on YouTube. Everybody watching on Instagram and TikTok, thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to spend with us. And for everybody that's going to catch the rewatch of this thing, we thank you as well. Fifth and final shout out of the night, as I always got to do, try to save the best for last. My little sis, as I said, she's out tonight. But hey, sis, Shy Blue, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for everything that you do for us and help us with the show and help everything to run the way that it does. So, with that out the way, y'all, we're about to get into it tonight. Topic of the night is, what are the challenges of interracial relationships in today's society? And I'm really loving who we're gonna have on tonight, because you look at D. I'm gonna just preface it real quick and we'll bring them in. I think you see a lot of the younger generation, and it's more common amongst them. So I don't think it bothers them that much, because that younger generation, they kind of do their own thing. But when you get with older people, older generations, our age, Gen X and above, it was a little bit tougher to navigate. So that's that's why we wanted to get into that tonight. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring them in. Oh, and real quick, once again, if you're watching on TikTok, the link is up. We got the chat going on over there, but if you want to, you can participate in the live chat over here. Hit that link, come on over here to YouTube, and you can participate in the live chat. Also, I believe we're going to have the phone lines up tonight, so we'll be able to have some interaction. I'm also going to put the link up for anybody that may want to come on camera as well, so we're going to have a great discussion. Now, we got that out the way, without further ado, let's bring to the stage our people, my big brother, my big sister, and you know what? Y'all gonna learn Kim runs shit in that house. He can say what he want to say. I'm going there. Kim runs shit in that house. Yeah. I'm calling it. Kim runs shit in that house. Yeah. So put it out there like it is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage. Special guest of the night, the Bernards, Miss Kimberly, and our brother, Mr. Joseph Bernard.
What up?
What up? What's up, people?
Hey,
what's up,
man.
family?
Hey, why your boy over there co-signing, man? Why you over there co-signing?
I'm just hanging out. Hey,
bro. Why you co-signing, cuz?
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
I'm hanging out, Kim.
I appreciate it. Larry's been paying attention.
Hey, I've known y'all long enough, and at the end of the day, we be having our conversations. We have like me and JB be on the phone, when Kim be on the phone, my wife be, and I be hearing who be controlling things on that side. I know who the boss is. I saw what happened in November for the bash. I saw who was running things.
What you saw?
I saw Kim locking that
don't
ass
you
down.
Say, hey, Jimmy the Cricket don't say nothing over there.
Hey, I'm chilling. Hanging out.
But
what's up?
People, I just want to say, man, I appreciate y'all taking the time to come on tonight with us and talk about this topic right here. I know it's a lot of stuff about this topic that, and I'll use myself as an example. I've seen it, but I've never known the dynamics of it, personally, because I've never, dated outside of my race. So I'm looking to learn some stuff about it, and more than just the optics of what I see. So just appreciate y'all taking the time to join us tonight and school us and anybody else, and just open up, man, and just whatever y'all want to talk about, and however y'all want to let it be known. We're going to rock. Y'all know how we do over here.
Let's do it.
So y'all ready?
Yeah, let's do
it. All right. So first question that I have. Yeah, y'all been married how long? 20?
It'll be 25 years this 18th of June, but we've been together for 30 years.
30 years. Wow. Okay.
30 years, yeah.
Wow, 95. the year I graduated. So, and what I like about that is, and I can remember going back to when I was in high school, in the mid 90s, when I graduated in 95 and coming out when I went to college, it was still somewhat taboo. So that's what I love about having y'all on to talk about this, because y'all got together at a time where it wasn't widely accepted and all of that. So real quick, before we get into it, just give us the origins. How did you guys meet? How did y'all come to date? And you
talking about stalker right here?
I think that was not.
Hey, I'm gonna sit back and listen.
No, go ahead and tell him.
So long story, my dad was in the service. He got stationed to Columbus, Mississippi. This girl was not having it. So I moved in with my aunt in Orlando, and I was working at a McDonald's, and he came through one day, and I'll tell you, I know his order to this day, because he would come in there, if not at least 4 times a week. He was there every day in that drive-thru. So we met in the drive-thru at McDonald's, and when he would come in, I could hear his voice. I'm like, a number 3, no onions, with a high C orange and a strawberry sundae with peanuts. Like, I knew it off the rip. Like, I mean, because I was just like, he's gonna be mine one day. Like, he was gorgeous. He was fine.
Yeah, you hit.
But and it just and then one of his good friends, Troy, was working at the McDonald's with me, and he was, oh, that's my dude. And I was like, you gotta introduce me. And that's how we met. And been what? I ain't gonna say downhill. I'm gonna say it's been uphill and downhill since.
Yeah.
But like to this day, like my kids is like, there's no way you still remember his order. Oh, I do.
Yeah, it's
I do.
absolutely right, bro. I mean,
I do.
I always went there. It's absolutely
Yeah.
right.
So
How she figured out where I stayed at, I don't know that. But she figured out what.
His
So
dad
like
there's only one naval base in Orlando.
Yeah, so
not
Okay.
in his car.
yeah, he was stationed there. So like where the McDonald's was, the base was like across the street. You still had to drive up, but
Yeah.
that's where it was. So you know, it was like like most bases, you got to have like ID and stuff to get on. But that one you didn't, so you can just ride through and just anybody can ride through there. So yeah,
And I found him.
So Kimberly, you approached him first, or he approached you, or how did y'all, get to okay, so you liked him. You knew you knew you wanted him. So how did you go about approaching him and making it happen?
I asked his friend Troy to introduce us, and that's where it went from there.
And when Troy introduced y'all, because like I said, I know he be always trying to act all suave and stuff like that. Like I said, all cool and stuff like that.
yeah.
He was he quiet. I mean, he's still quiet a little bit, but he was quiet. And we just kicked it off. I mean, I was scared and this might sound bad, but I was scared to tell him my age because he was 23, I was 16. But to me, age is just a number, and stop it.
Look at D.
I figure, I'm about to be 18. It don't matter, and it just went downhill from there, uphill from there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But and I'm like you. I mean, it's not acceptable.
Right.
But back then, back in the 90s, it was common. I know when we were in high school, it was common.
Right.
Yeah.
You would see what was that movie we used to watch? I can't think of it. Sunset Park. Guys that were out of school coming in the Jeeps, picking up the high school girls. I mean, it was common, so
Yeah.
JB, I want to ask you, because you're from my neck of the woods, being a Louisiana boy, and I know how the attitudes towards interracial relationships were down here.
Yeah.
How did you feel? Was there any hesitation or did any second thoughts at first thinking about?
No, not really, because coming from Louisiana, it's a no-go. Back then coming up, it was no-go. So and then it really like me living there, it really wasn't introduced. You know what I mean? It was like you stay on that side of the track, we stay on this side of the track.
Right.
So but when my mom met my dad, because my dad was in the military, so now I got to live in we moved to El Paso. So now with you being in the military, you get this meet other ethnic backgrounds.
Diversity, yeah.
So that opened okay, the other side is not so bad as people say, because this is the military. You see the military, so you as a kid, you know what I'm saying, you don't see what grown-ups see back then. Oh, you a kid, so all you do is see, military kids, and you have fun with them. You know what I mean? You're not gonna see them that long, because the average stay at a military base is probably 3 years, if they don't enlist to stay there again. Right. So I got to move all over the world. So even though around that time when my dad, when I was at the military base, I get to date whoever, and it wasn't it was kind of like me dating outside of my race. Wait a minute, you know what I mean? Because where I come from,
right?
But I did, you know what I'm saying? So that in El Paso, that's when I started dating outside of my race, because I got to meet different people that, different evidence, and said with that sense, everybody's not bad, you know what I mean? So and then I went to Germany, so that opened my eyes up more.
Yeah, to
see everybody's, this person's dating that person dating that person. They're not just, they're different races. So I got to see a lot of them. My dad, married my mom.
Okay. All right. D, you got something?
Yeah, I do. First of all, thank you guys for joining the platform.
Yeah.
I want to know how, when you guys met, like how fast after that did you guys introduce each other to your respective families, and how did that turn out?
My parents didn't meet Joe probably till after Aaliyah was born. Yeah, till after Aaliyah was born, our daughter Aaliyah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because at that time, my dad and mother was still in Columbus, Mississippi. And they were raising my sister's child who was biracial. And when my mom would go out, she would get a lot of bad. Mississippi is Mississippi. And she would get spit at. She would get cussed out by both sides, the black side and the white side. Like, what are you doing here? So she eventually stopped going to the Walmarts and the Kmarts. And that's how long it's been. Kmart was still around and would just shop on the base because she was terrified.
Right.
And my dad, I love him to death. Don't get me wrong. He changed in about 2012. Now, don't get me wrong. He's always loved his grandkids, but I'm going to say Steve, the old Steve, I would never want back. It took almost losing his life to realize that I don't care what color you are, what ethnic you are. We all come in one way and we all go out one way. And, but they weren't interested in meeting Joe. Let's just put it to you that way. It was a lot of, are you thinking about the children? And now that we have children, I talked to Devin about this a few weeks back. I didn't understand what my dad was saying. What about the children? Think about the children. I was 17, 18 years old. I didn't really understand what he was trying to explain to me and tell me until our children came along. And unfortunately, the first bit of racism that my children did experience was from my side of the family, and then some on Joe's side of the family, more of Joe's mom's side of the family. But I knew exactly what now that they're older, it's like I didn't take that in consideration. Would I do it all over again? Definitely. But I will tell you, and not to discourage anybody, because I'm like I told you, I'm fighting you over my kids. I'm fighting you over my grandbabies. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna smile at my mugshot, but they suffer. Because it's either you're too dark for the white side or you too light skinned for the black side. So I'm going to say my daughter, Aaliyah and Jordan, has faced it the hardest growing up. And it got to me. It got to me bad because you don't think about that when you fall in love and you find somebody that you want to spend the rest of your life with. You don't think about that. Right. But it was, the children do suffer. And now that I'm older, I realize what my dad was trying to explain to me. Like, don't bring a child into this world that I'm going to love as a grandfather, but have to watch them go through pure hell because people are not going to accept it. They might tolerate it, but they're not willing to accept it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. So that's been my biggest struggle in this whole relationship and marriage, was defending my children when I had to defend my children. Now, don't get me wrong, my daughter now, she when she got up here, she was called stupid like her dad. And she said, what that girl said, well, you're stupid just like your dad because he's an N. And Aaliyah had to breathe for a minute, but Aaliyah tore that girl up, and that was her biggest racism that she ever experienced, believe it or not, was in South Carolina at the middle school. But that girl never called her that again, I'll tell you that. Because racism is it's bad in the South. It's like, it's not as prominent as it was when we were growing up in the early 80s, the early 90s. They hide it a little bit, but we still get it from both sides. And I just wish people would grow the heck up.
Oh, you good.
And you know what I'm saying? There's one way in and one way out. You make your choice of where you want to go. And I refuse to hate anybody because of the color of their skin or their ethnic background. Because you know what, God made us all.
Yeah.
You know,
I would say,
but yeah, the children has been my
yeah,
biggest issue.
my dad, he's more accepted.
And more, yeah,
My dad was
everybody's
more
more accepted.
accepted, you
He was
know.
from Chicago.
My dad's from
Yeah,
Chicago, and
Yeah, yeah.
I loved
so
him. I loved him to death.
so he's more accepted because he's military. So when you're military, you know, some may hide it in the military. I don't know. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, my
But he
dad.
was more accepted. Now my mom, bro,
Oh yeah.
nah,
She from Louisiana,
not having it,
born
bro.
in the 50s.
No.
Yeah,
I
she.
mean,
That's all
Yeah,
them Louisiana mamas, because my mama,
yeah,
born and
yeah.
raised down here, born in 1947, I want to say. So they pretty
Oh,
much right what. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you
yeah.
what my mama said. She told me growing up, they had a little white girl in high school. I was kind of digging on a little bit, and I think my mama knew. But once again, I didn't know how to go about it. And
Right.
when my mama just put two and two together, shouts out to Eric Myrick, always supporting the show. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that $10 dono. My mom told me, and my mom is not, let me make sure I get this disclaimer out here. My mom is not racist. My mom is not prejudiced. But I think, and JB, just like with your mom, I think the era that they came out of, they saw so much and felt so much disrespect. They
Yeah.
didn't want us to possibly go through it. My mom told me verbatim when I was in high school, don't you bring nothing home white but milk. That's what she
yeah,
told me.
yeah,
And but I knew my mom wasn't prejudiced because my white friends would come to the house. They would come sleep at the house, play the video games. She would have parties, feed them, clown them.
right.
You know,
It's
it's
just
just
a lot of consequences
taboo. Yeah,
as we come up,
Taboo.
as we're growing up, and I think from what like our mom, our grandparents had to go through, and
yes,
it's more like now I'm protecting y'all, you know. I guess until you get older, and
right.
then you get to see for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, my mom, she came around, you know, may she rest in peace. But she you can say it right there. Liv. She came around, she had her moments. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Kim, because
Hmm.
I was man, I when Dee had
you
told me
good.
the backstory at first about your
Yeah.
your lineage, your family history,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I
Yeah.
never, because I thought, go ahead on and tell them, go ahead on and let everybody know about your lineage.
Okay, so I'm my dad is surname is Kemp, Kemp. My mother's maiden name is Day, Day. My mother's family runs out of the West Virginia area. My dad's family, the Alabama area. Um, so on my mom's side, my four-time great grandfather
Sounds
was
like
the
shit.
Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan in West Virginia. And I remember my grandfather telling me the stories, young. I didn't believe him, and their family reunions were in West Virginia on Belcher's Mountain, is what they called it. And my grandfather, my mom's dad, showed me the tombstone. And I don't know what type of star was on it, but it had his name. And he would tell the story. He would remember at his, they would talk about the funeral, and all he'd see was the hoods coming up as they was burying him. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, I'm in a family that hates people because of the color of their skin, and then my dad's side of the family, his my fourth-time great was a slave owner. So they're turning in their graves. I guarantee you that. And then my brother, and I try to get him to get me the information, but he's going through a divorce. So all his stuff is packed up. We are blood descendants of Robert E. Lee on my mom's side. And then, believe it or not, we're blood descendants of the Hatfields. So there's a lot of hatred that runs in my gene, and I can't even pronounce
In your
it.
gene.
Yeah, in my genes. And I just tell people, they're like, well, how did you end up like this? Well, God has revenge, and I believe that their, what's the word I'm trying to say? Their family curses, I guess is what I'm going to call it. Were broken, you know. My aunt, my mama's baby sister, she actually gave birth to the first biracial child in New Smyrna Beach, in the
Mhm.
hospital there, to her daughter Shantae. She was actually the first. Her and her ex-husband were actually the first interracial to didn't care. You know, we're gonna do it despite, and believe it or not, my grandfather was a Pentecostal preacher, so that didn't go too well. You know, he had an image to keep.
Right.
But it runs the hatred, it ran deep. It ran deep. And I'm just glad that it didn't fall on me, you know, and I fell in love with Joe. I would love Joe whether he was white, black, Puerto Rican. You know, I fell in love with him, his personality. He helped me get through a lot of my childhood trauma that I went through.
Right.
And he lit, you know, I could laugh when I was feeling down. But the heritage is there. Like Joe was talking about in the military, his dad was a little bit more. My dad, he's not a bad man. I mean, like, he took him almost losing his life for him to open his eyes, but he was the one that would hide it. And you're not supposed to be racist. You're not supposed to be prejudiced while in the service. You're not supposed to. But like Joe said, a lot of people hid it. And that was one of the reasons why I was afraid to tell my dad I was pregnant. You know what I'm saying? I took some time apart when I ended up pregnant, and I went and I stayed with my mom and dad in Mississippi. And when we found out I was pregnant, he pretty much could have almost lost his stripes because he was cussing up a storm on the base. And then that's when well, you're going to be a single mother your whole life. He's not going to take care of the baby. We're going to have to take care of it. You're going to be on this, and that, and other for the rest of your life. And I was like, no. You know, I got scared there for a minute, but he finally called for me. And we went home because, you know, he was still dealing with the mother thing. You know, how am I going to tell my mama I'm bringing home this half white, half black baby? You know, but the hatred is there, and I'm just glad that God had his revenge, and now we're a diverse family. You know, from we've got Crucian, we've got black, we've got Hispanic. We do. I mean, it's pretty much what is open out there now. And then to the point that my dad actually is a proud grandfather now. Back in the early 90s, the late 90s, when our sons were born, he was not so much proud to stand up and say, yes, those are my grandkids, because he had an image to keep, which I don't understand that. But he will tell you, like, he will go to prison over his granddaughter. I will tell you that. So I'm kind of glad, but that's where my heritage runs from. Am I happy? No, I'm not happy. Am I proud to talk about it? No, but that's history, and it's there, and I can't get rid of it. And I wouldn't want to, because when you try to erase history, we don't have nothing. We can't learn off of it. We can't learn the bad, and we can't learn the good. So, I mean, am I ashamed of it? No, I'm not ashamed of where I come from. I love my daddy to death. I love my mom to death. But I'm just glad that hatred, that racism, that prejudice didn't reflect on me.
I think I could say this, you know, to you, Kimberly. As much as you hate the DNA in the history, take pride that you ushered in the change, and take pride that the change moving forward, the generational change moving with your babies and your grandbabies moving on forward. It begins with you. I think that's the most important thing that you could really take for solace, is that, it bugs you where you come from, but on a higher scale, where you come from is negated by what you changed. Right. And not only what you change, the legacy that you leave of change in your babies and future generations.
Yeah. And that was, my biggest thing with MLK, and I might not get the words right, but did he not say, don't judge me off the color of my skin, but off of my character? And if people could just listen to that speech of his, I mean, there's so many ignorant people out here, and it makes me so angry and so mad, because I'm not going to judge you off of the color of your skin or your ethnic background. I'm going to judge you off your character. Are you a good person? Are you a hateful person? Because I don't have time for negative energy. And you got it You get good people that are white, black, Hispanic. You get horrible people who are black, white, Hispanic. And I don't want to be around those. I want to be the ones who's going to bring us energy, who don't care what I look like, what my husband or my children look like, or what my friends look like. They going to judge me and my family off of our character. And that's what I try to live my life as. And, you know, I try not to see color. Even though it's hard, I try not to see color. And just if they would just listen to that speech of MLK, the world would be so much better. And you know, if it wasn't for him, there wouldn't be no Joe, there wouldn't be no Kim, there wouldn't be our 4 children and our 4 our 4 grandchildren. And I tell people that it's one of the best mans in this world, except for Jesus, that walked this world was MLK, because we were able to actually love without being hung. I'm just going to be honest with you, without being hung. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
So take us a little bit through that transition. Either one of you guys. You know, I know you say starting out, they wasn't very accepting of the ideal of you guys, you know, being a couple, and furthermore, like having kids. So when did they started to like accept the kids? Like, how did that transition become? Like, was it like how, over a period of time? Like, did they spend more time with the kids? Like, how did they become more welcoming and warming to the kids when they came?
I guess they would see when you're not like one of them that's like fathers, don't matter where you are, that's gonna disappear. Like, you know, when he said you're not gonna be there, you'll be a single mom. So when you find out that she's not gonna be a single mom, you kind of change a little bit. You see what I'm saying? You know, so like, like I said, my dad, he was accepted, you know, when she came home. He said, my mom, she accepted it, you know what I'm saying? Because my dad ran the house.
Well, she tolerated it at first.
Yeah, she tolerated. So it took her a while. You know what I'm saying? It took her. Because I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't really talk about my mom, because my mom, she drank too. So, you know what I'm saying? When that take a plate, it makes it hard. But when she don't, you know what I'm saying, she's more accepted.
Accepted
When
she
I mean?
was
So,
drinking.
you know, and like, you know, her dad, when I met him, when I first met him, I didn't feel no like animosity. So he, you know, I was welcome to his home because I think I came to Columbia, right?
Columbus,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So on the way there,
Oh, that stop.
so we're going to her parents' house in Columbia, and she's like,
This was in 95.
yeah. So she's like, you know, we in a car, dark tinted windows, and like I don't know where we're going. So she's driving. She's like,
I'm lost.
do you want to go out there and stop and ask for directions? So I just looked, and I'm like, nah, I ain't getting out. I'm not getting out.
Yeah.
Because you see what I'm saying? You know, it's two different cultures.
Right.
And so I'm not stepping out here. Man, I'm telling you, I did not get out the car until we got to her house.
To the base.
To the base.
Yeah.
I would not get out, man, because it's in deep in the South. It's still not. You know, it's not accepted. It might not be accepted today. There's places here they don't accept it. So you know, there's some places here you just don't go.
Yeah, you just
sundown towns.
Yeah, you just gotta. Yeah, so you know, my dad, especially when my daughter was born, and, you know, Kimberly moved in with me, we just became a family, man. You know, my dad welcomed my mom. We all had it. We just came. You know, it became wonderful. Let's put it that way. You know, you still gonna have your ups and downs there, but we saw ourselves getting over a hump that doesn't really happen. That's not supposed to happen, but it is happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because time is changing, and people are starting to see that it's, you know, in the world, that this is what's going on in the world. You know, and I'm like this. I'll be honest with you, man. I don't care who accepted or not. Because at the end of the day, I don't have to live with them. My job is protect my kids and everything.
Yeah.
And that's how I saw it. You know what I mean? You know, and as me growing up like overseas and as getting older, I pretty much, like I told her this before. I saw my future. Didn't know who I was going to be with, but I knew like whoever I was going to be with, I was going to be there no matter what. You know what I mean? I was going to raise my family. I was not going to be like, and sometimes you can't help the situation, whether you get a divorce or not. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's just the way life planned for some people, you know. But I knew that I was going to do what I was supposed to do as a man, as a father, to take care of my family, to be in that home. So,
yeah, because I asked the question,
yeah,
you know, because I'm sure it was challenging, you know, because trying to like, you know, keep some of the kids from, you know, certain people that, you know, wasn't on board. I'm sure like that was like an uncomfortable feeling, like, you know, well, I know this person really don't, you know, care for it or whatever the case may be. So I don't want to bring my kids around that person. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, because we went when our first time we went back home to Louisiana, and I took, you know, Kimberly with me. So we're just like, you know, we're sitting out in there at my grandmother's house, and we're having like dinner outside on her porch and stuff like that. So some of my family don't, but excuse me, my uncle.
Yeah,
You know, I'm telling you like this, Larry Frank, and I might be wrong, or everybody has that drunk uncle. So my uncle, everybody got that drunk uncle. But what I'm saying is, go closer. She was accepted by them. You know what I'm saying? So on this side, say hello. This is my granddaughter. So Kimmy was accepted on, you can see it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm standing there. I can see it. She's uncomfortable because some's not going to accept it because I'm married to, you know, a white woman. And then majority of my family is married to black. So it's just like I said, back in the day, that's how some of them live. So they see it and they're like, my aunt and them and all them, nah, this ain't
uncle.
Nah, man. But my uncles, they're okay with it.
Yeah. And your grandma, Leisha, was okay with it.
Yeah, let's put it in this perspective. My uncles, all the men, okay with it. All the women, not okay with it. But you,
Kim, how did you deal with that?
It was hard. It was hard because not only were the females, except for his grandmother, her name's Leisha, they shunned Aaliyah too, and that was hard because and then I didn't say anything because I did feel out of place, and it wasn't my place to say anything, and I didn't want to cause friction because we were there for like a week. But I'm sure if I would have went to T, which is Joe's stepdad, and said, "Hey, this is how I'm feeling," you know, they're shunning Aaliyah, you know, he would have took care of it because, you know, everybody was afraid of Mr. Tonsil. Like, he was almost 7 foot, almost 300 pounds. He was a big dude. But I just kept quiet. But mind you, I was only 18, 19 years old. This was the first time I really experienced the harsh racism.
It's not saying words, but you know, the body language.
Yeah, that's
body language. So you can feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can feel the tension. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. So it's like I said, it took time. It took time, and
some of them still don't talk.
Some of them probably still. I mean, but we don't really go home. Yeah. We don't really go home, but you know, you can you feel that, you know, that tension in there. Yeah. But like I said, we just, man, you know what? We just got through it.
Yeah, that's all we could do.
That's all we could do. You know what I'm saying?
It made us stronger.
It's another challenge.
Yeah, it made us stronger.
It's another hurdle we had to get over.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get over this hurdle. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, guess what? We're going home. They're going home.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about what they say. You know what I'm saying? If they're worried about us, then I appreciate living rent free in your head.
Yeah.
That point.
You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, D, it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge for our kids. You know what I'm saying? And but majority, they were pretty much raised here. They were pretty much raised here in South Carolina. And even when I moved to South Carolina, so it was weird because I didn't expect so much people to be like we'll go somewhere and people just waving.
Oh yeah.
People just waving here, bro. Like I'm looking at her, I'll say, they do that here?
Yeah.
Because we're in South Carolina, man. Yeah, they don't do that in Louisiana.
They don't do it in Florida.
And I'm gonna tell you something too, man. I'm gonna tell you something like in today's time, it's still not in some place like we went to, my best friend, one of my best friends that lives in Virginia, even when we went to go visit him, we went to go visit him, we went to a grocery store and I'm holding her hand and he said, man, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Yes, I promise you to this day.
No, it's bad.
What part of Virginia that was?
It's a little country town.
I have to ask him what part he lives in. I forgot what part he lives in, but yes.
Yeah.
We stayed in a hotel. We went to him to his house, and then we all went to the grocery store to get some stuff. I think we was gonna cook or do something.
Barbecue or something like that.
Something we was gonna do. Yeah. But and me and her was holding hands. He was like, man, don't do that here. Man, some places not accepted. It's not accepted, man.
Dude,
to this day.
Wife.
Bro. And you know what? And I just feel like, for like me, I have to protect her. So yeah, I know, and I'm thinking the same thing as you saying. And that's my best friend. That's my road dog. So he knows, but to protect, just don't hold hands, because what you're gonna do is somebody come out your wife, you're gonna protect them no matter what.
That's your instinct.
So, but just to be in that situation that and I'm visiting him, so I don't want him to put him in no bad spot either. So we got in
and we got
out.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's the hardest part. I think that it would be for me, like not the fact that, you don't care about dating outside your race or anything like that. It's just the fact of having to be able to keep a sane head when you're out in public and somebody tries you. Right. How do you keep it together not to defend the person that you with? I think that'll be the hardest thing for me, and why I wouldn't do it, because I think, to be fair to your dad, like you said the whole time when he was saying, think about the kids. I think it was coming from a good part of him saying what they would have to endure out here with, society and the way people act, because there are ignorant ass people out here that can take you there and trick you off, you know what I'm saying, to make you do something that you have to do for defending your kids. So I think I'd be that same person.
There was a lot of stuff I didn't know, because I think one incident when we was younger, we went into to rent a video, and I guess somebody was coming out and they spit on the ground. And I was like, damn, he spit all on the ground. And I'm thinking you know what I'm saying? Damn, I just said, damn, he just spitting all on the ground. But she was like, that was meant for us because we're mixed.
He did it. He literally stopped. Right. Yeah, he stopped. They were coming out. We were going in, and we were walking side by side, and he literally stopped in front of Joe and spat on the ground. Bro. And he was like, oh, they just nasty.
I didn't know. Yeah, that's all I'm thinking.
That white dude, did it.
Bro, that's all I'm thinking.
You was with me.
But when she tells me, now I got a different attitude. Now things have changed. You know what I mean?
She picked up on it initially. You didn't think about it until she broke it down. Babe,
see, I was and I was younger, so I ain't taking I don't take no crap now, but firecracker back then. Yeah, I was a real firecracker. Yeah, man, I was a real firecracker. So I'm like, what? So, but I, with her, I'm going back inside because I don't know what these fools have. You know what I mean? Because I was really off the chain. So I'm with her. So if you got a problem with her, you got a problem with me. She worked at McDonald's. Somebody had a problem with her. I picked her up. She tells me about it. I turned the car around. I go inside. I go behind the counter. I go behind the counter. And I got in the face, don't you ever in your life disrespect her. In your life. I promise you that. Right. I'm coming back for you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this, on the note.
Go ahead.
No matter who you with, you protect your wife. I don't care what color she is.
You're still a man. You're still a man, regardless.
And that's still your wife. And that's still
your wife. No matter no matter what background she's from, you chose her, and your job is to protect her. So that's what I did. Right. And if she was a woman of color, I'm doing the same thing.
Right.
I'm going over the counter, no matter who she are. If you disrespect it, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. So I'm telling you, man, it took me a long time to sit back and just observe life now. You know what I mean?
I'm sure it's hard.
Oh,
Sure it's
it is.
hard.
Joe don't get as what's it angry as I do. Like, I'm gonna tell you about yourself. And in today's world, I guess it's kind of dangerous because, like Joe said, you don't know what people are carrying. I mean, but we carry too. Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah,
you're allowed to say whatever you want to say.
Okay.
They don't know what you're carrying. You might be carrying a duffel bag. They don't know.
Okay.
They know, but they don't know.
But
Yeah, right.
I'm the one that will cuss you out in a heartbeat. You know, like I said, defending my marriage, defending my children, now defending my grandchildren, because my children pretty much will defend themselves. But and he just tries just like, no, like, hell no, like, this is 2025, like, they shouldn't be saying this bull crap. They shouldn't.
Right.
It just I think it's just
He
sometimes
keeps me a little bit more level-headed, but I don't leave without that person that's either giving us a bad look or said something without them knowing. I know what you're thinking. I know what you wanting to say, and you ain't gonna do that in front of me. You're not gonna disrespect my husband. You're not gonna disrespect my children. You're not gonna disrespect my grandchildren.
it really takes a lot for me to get to the.
Oh yeah, it does.
It takes a lot.
Opposites.
It really takes it takes a lot. You know, sometimes I just because I'm 55 now, so you know I've grown. So I sit back and I just like observe a lot of things.
Right.
So instead of me getting into confrontation because you know what do you think about me and who I'm married to? That's you. That's you. Maybe you unhappy. Maybe you should find.
You're unhappy with
Maybe you should
yourself.
find you somebody. You know what I mean? Don't matter who it is. Because I tell you this, Larry, and I probably talk to you, even if she wasn't, you know, a white female. If she was black, we still gonna have this same problem. Because we do it to each other. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm just speaking. We still gonna have the same problem. Look at her, look what she got on. Look at that. They think they suck.
Yeah.
So like it's like for the I guess I'm gonna say for the gentleman it's more accepted because we don't really care. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go blast you for who you with, but I guess from the female side, it really cares. Why I don't know. Why I really don't know.
JB, we talked about that, and I'm glad you're bringing that back up because you and I think we talked the other day about an hour, and we addressed that, you know, about, and I'm gonna just go there, you know, and within our race, a lot of our sisters are very judgmental of their own. We talked about this, you know, they can be out in the club, they be together, or they could be in wherever at a social function, social event, and if somebody comes in, looks just like them, but they might be dressed a certain way. They might talk a certain way. They might act a certain way. They're just as judgmental towards their own as they are towards the other races. And you're right. I don't know. I don't know why it's like that. But also, like we said, I can remember being a kid, and I just think it's in the DNA of our women.
Yeah.
Because I can remember being a kid and being places, and the older ladies, like back in the 80s when I was a kid, they shooing and talking about other people that's walking in. For what reason it's in our DNA, I do not know, but it's prevalent.
Yeah. I don't understand it. Like why just be happy. You know what I'm saying? Live your life. You shouldn't really be worried about like who's dating who, no matter what color they are. If they're happy, why can't you just go find somebody to be happy?
Right.
Don't matter if you're male or female. Just go find somebody to be happy with. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling her one time we was out, like, you know, I talk to D sometime when I'm out doing deliveries and stuff like that. And I was loading up and I saw a couple. You know, she was black and he was white. And man, they looked just as happy. You know what I'm saying? They were just happy. They didn't it's like they didn't really care what was around them. You know what I mean?
Right.
All the outside noise. They was just happy. So I don't understand. And you know what I'm saying? And to see something like that, no matter where they come from, that they're together, they're on the same page, and they're happy. So I don't understand like why have an attitude or be negative towards somebody just because who they're with.
Yeah.
And you got to understand some of this stuff that our ancestors went through. We didn't go through all of that. We got more now. We got more we got more, I guess I want to say more like, can I say privileges or whatever than what our ancestors had. They didn't have what we have now.
They didn't have as much freedom
As we
y'all.
have. You know what I mean? Because back then they couldn't do that.
They couldn't do nothing.
They couldn't do nothing. Yeah, you can do what you want now. Love who you want. You know what I mean? So I just don't understand why people just can't be happy in their life instead of worrying about somebody else's life.
Let me ask y'all this real quick.
Yeah.
And we're talking modern day. I know you guys have adapted to modern day, but in the early goings,
yeah,
did the societal pressure get to y'all? Like when y'all started going out the stairs, or you talked about the guy that spit on the ground and stuff like that. You said that was like one of your first instances of realization that this was a problem.
Yeah.
Did the societal pressure of the stairs, the shishooing, maybe some low key disrespectful treatment?
Yeah.
How did y'all handle that? Because I know if you're in a regular relationship with somebody, you starting off brand new, there's going to be some societal pressure because you're getting judged. People are looking at who you with, no matter who you with. But being that you guys had this relationship at the time, did you feel that societal pressure in the beginning? And if so, how did you get beyond it?
I mean, I think we did. I'm gonna say we did, but surrounding yourself with good people.
Those that weren't so judgmental.
Yeah.
Like, my biggest issue was, that one instant, the white guy spitting at the ground. I know that was towards me. Right. I get it. But my biggest thing when the women of color, it affected me a lot because, he's only with you because you'll do stuff that we won't do. He's only with you because he'll be able to beat your ass and run over you. He can't do that with me. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, but Joe's never put a finger on me, and that's what got to me. Because, like, you don't even know me and you're telling me that I'm willing to do stuff that you're not willing to do, but that's not even me. Then you see saying, I'll put up with crap that you won't put up with. Okay, what are you willing to put up with that I'm, do you see what I'm getting at? That affected me a lot. And in the back of my mind, between my parents and some of my family members saying, well, he's never going to marry you. You're going to be a single mother. And then with the women of color telling me that, in the back of my mind, I went through a lot of depression because I'm like, is he going to leave me? Is he with me because of what they're saying? Am I a trophy wife? Like that really affected me. But over the years, I got to realize that Joe is not that. He could have left me so many times if he wanted to.
Good credit, bro.
We wasn't married. He could have just up and left, and he didn't. We want into being a baby mama and a baby daddy. We wanted a family. Right. And it took me a lot of years to say, stop listening to them. They're just jealous or they're unhappy with themselves because they can't find somebody who's going to take care of them when you need to be taken care of. Because granted, I don't need Joe to take care of me. I'm very independent, but do I need a man? Do I need a husband? Yeah, I don't want to get out there and cut that grass. I don't want to get out there and change that oil. So I do need a man in my life. You know what I'm saying? But it affected me, I think, more so me than it did Joe. Because I was attacked. When I say attacked, I mean say verbally attacked a lot by women of color in the early 90s or the mid 90s, early 2000. And then sometimes to this day, they'll say, well, the only reason why he's with you because you're a trophy wife. I don't get it. I don't understand what the hell that means. So,
it's still out. I'm gonna give you an incident that is still out. So I'm gonna give you one that is real. So she says to me, I'm hungry, right? And she says she wants to go to Arby's. So we drive up to Arby's. She puts our order in. So we pull around to the drive-thru. So there's 3 people in there, 2 females and a guy. But I didn't know there was a guy in there. He was in the back. So normally somebody that's working at the window will open it up and that's the one supposed to take your money and everything. Right. So I'm watching her, and she's pointing to the back, saying something to whoever's in the back. So the guy comes up, and he looks at her, and he looks again, and then he opens the door. And he takes my money and everything, my card. So when we drive off, and I told him, see, I was furious because, and I was telling her, I said, listen, she didn't want to take the order. She didn't want to take our stuff because she saw you.
Wow.
And then I told Karen, I said, I really wanted to say something to her because if you don't like your job, if you don't like the relationship that somebody, you in the wrong society.
Serving people.
You shouldn't be there. Because if you're judging somebody by that's not your job.
Right.
Your job, you work at the fast food. So your job is to take the people's order and their money, whatever. That's your job. You're not supposed to judge people on who they're with or the color of their skin.
Right.
So it's crazy because this stuff is still here. And I
it ain't going nowhere. It's definitely not going anywhere.
It's not going nowhere. It is not. It's definitely because I can sometimes when we go someplace, I still see it.
Yeah.
I still see it. And that's just on you. If you feel that way, then you know what? Enjoy it. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going home and go to sleep. I'm finna enjoy my meal. I'm not going to even worry about it. Long as you don't address me or address her, we are good.
I want to highlight this
Shout out
comment
to
right
AO.
here to our boy AO. He says, as the product of an interracial relationship and in an interracial relationship, love this discussion. D, you want to put the number up where we can try to get some phone calls if anybody wants to call in?
And that's a good point. So a lot of people are shy away from these type of topics, these type of conversations, but not over here. AO, you a regular, you know how we do it, man. So we talk about everything, man.
Matter of fact, if AO wants to chime in, we got the number. And
it's still a battle.
So,
it's still a battle because, like I said, there's places in here, like here in South Carolina, man. I'm gonna tell you right now.
We're not going.
Listen. I don't go without my tank full. And if I got to go through there, bro, I ain't stopping it. Even if the police come, I tell them I'm not. I put my flashes on and I ain't stopping until I get out of it.
Yeah.
And it's
always
crazy.
told Larry Frank this, man. There's certain places that I would just not live, man. In certain states, man, and in South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, like those states right there, man. I'd never live there, bro. Like
it's hard.
And
it's hard.
And I you know what I'm saying? Where I'm from, I love where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm from. I love it. But I even told my cousin, man, sometimes I just want to come back.
We agree, Miss Allman. We agree with you.
Shouts out to Miss Allman. She says it's worse now because of one person.
Thanks.
That
orange man. That orange man up in there.
With the toupee.
Right.
Yeah. So, even like I said, my cousin back at home, he was like,
don't come back here.
Ain't nothing here. Ain't no need to come back here. You know what I mean? Because ain't nothing.
Look at what AO said.
What they
read what AO said, Larry Frank?
AO says it might be worse now versus the early 2000s. Come on to Iowa. And he ain't lying because I was rolling over the road and I had to go through Iowa. I was in Nebraska. I had to go through Iowa. I had to go on up to Minneapolis, and I stopped at a couple of places. And and it got me because that's the North,
right?
And it's like,
wait a minute, is it cold there? Is it cold there?
Right now, no.
But it gets cold there, though, don't it?
It does. It does.
Oh, it does. Hey, I love you like a brother, but I can't do it.
I'm trying to get back down here. He's trying to get back down south.
Hey, he's trying to get somebody up there.
I'd have been up there, so I did my part. So hey, maybe that's an invitation.
He said 3 months. There you go. 3 months. He on the couch.
Well, you see, you see what I'm talking about? Hey, trying to get somebody to move up there, and he moving back this way. Nah, hey, I see you when you get back this way.
you really gotta. I think you really gotta look at and going back to what Miss Allman said. The rhetoric is there. The rhetoric has been pushed. The rhetoric was pushed from the first term in office.
Yeah, but you know what though?
Talk to
the rhetoric was pushed from history. It didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. It didn't start with him.
Yeah, you.
It didn't. But it didn't really start with him.
That's true.
It was before him.
But he put it in the forefront of the church.
But you know what though?
To make people brave enough to vocalize it like they are. They comfortable vocalizing it more because of him.
Yeah, I see your point. What you're saying. Yeah, and I can't. But you know what? some people ain't gonna hide it. It ain't. That's one person that ain't gonna hide. You're gonna get what you're gonna get. I rather for somebody to be honest than sit behind a wall and hide and be over there chat. Be upfront. At least you know what you're getting. You follow what I'm saying? And versus somebody hiding behind something or hiding behind another person. Be upfront with it. I'd rather for you to be upfront with me, man. I don't like y'all interracial. Okay, then that's fine with you.
That's fine. You don't have
instead
to
of
like it.
instead of sitting over there, he again. Look at who he with.
I'm like that too. I'm like that too. Let me get this out the way real quick.
Yeah.
AO says the rhetoric just showed true colors. Fear just made it grow within them. Miss Alma says, "Yep, I see stuff every day that I never saw before 2016. People think they can act like he does and get away with it now, and that is all facts. That is all facts. Social media has really made some people think they're tougher than what they really are. Because I guarantee you, a lot of what they say they
but you know what though? You know what though? Some of them may have been your friends, and they was hiding. So now when 2016 happened. Then you got to see who they were. Now you know who they are. That's who they are.
You're hitting the nail on the head because I'm going to tell you why. A friend of mine who I went to high school with, I slept at his house. His mom, great, all of that. His mom to this day still, when she sees me, she'll inbox me on Facebook, happy birthday, great lady. His dad, always kind of rough around the edges, but I didn't, I kind of suspected, but he never said nothing that got out the way with me. So it was the last year with the Angel Reese thing and all of that, and he made a comment. It's on Facebook. You got the public comments and the public threads, and it was with Angel Reese, something she did, or it was something I can't remember, but it was the comment thread.
Yeah.
And in the comment thread, I saw him, and he put his exact words. They always act like that, and I'm thinking to myself,
right,
dude, I slept at your house. Like I'm friends with your son. Yeah.
You get to see. See what I'm saying? So in a way you could say, thank you. Right? You get what I'm saying? Because now I get to see. Now I get to see true color of people.
Yeah. So
that you know. You follow what I'm saying? Because you wouldn't have seen that if he wouldn't have ran in 2016. So you wouldn't have saw it. They'd have still been back there. So now when he ran, and he's gonna always tell you what's on his mind. He ain't gonna hide it. So now everybody feed off that, and now you get to see who they are. Oh man, you know what I mean? Nah, I can't run with you. Now I see how you are.
Well,
you've been like that. You see what I'm saying? You've been like that the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like talking politics because it's like talking Christianity. You get nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you, I'm a conservative who happens to vote Republican. Okay, because they align with my religious beliefs. Okay, I am pro-life. Babies are blessings from God. I'm all about securing our borders, because if anybody comes over here and does what they've done to them other girls, especially my granddaughter, that AK up in that room, I'm unloading it. You know what I'm saying? So, and then in 2016, when I was just voicing my opinion, then now this was coming from people from color. They know my husband. I'm a racist. I'm a bigot. I'm a Nazi. Why? Because I chose to vote against my religious beliefs.
What did I tell you, D? I'm gonna cut you off.
I'm a strong Second Amendment Constitution person. I believe in it. I believe in my free speech. I believe in giving a child a chance. You're always talking about, if you put the guns away, that's one child you possibly can save. Okay, but you've got abortion clinics all over the place. So what makes the difference between an abortion clinic not giving a child a chance to live a life, but you want to talk about the gun rights, take the gun rights from us? So I don't really like talking about it. I vote for who that lines with my religious beliefs, whether it's Trump, whether it's who else. Oh, okay. I voted for Obama. No. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna cut you off. What I told D is,
but I got backlash a lot from the people of color because I voted Republican. But it just lined up with my religious beliefs.
Anyway, like I told D, doesn't matter who you vote for or whatever. I look at life like this. You're my friend. You're gonna always be my friend.
Right.
I don't let some people I'm never gonna meet in my life dictate who my friend is.
Correct.
If you gotta choose our friendship over politics, then maybe we're not friends.
And I lost a lot
You know,
of friends.
like and Deacon testified that I told him that on the phone. I will never let something like that become between my friendship. My friend, I will always be friends with you guys. So I don't care who you vote for. It don't matter to me. I don't care. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, are you gonna be there for me when I need you?
Right.
Because they ain't.
It's like I tell people, man. Like with me, with the religion, with the politics thing, it depends on how you break it down. Because I feel like you kind of feel, Kim, like pretty much voted Democrat my whole life, but I have conservative views.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm the same way like you. Everything that you said, I'm for. But like I tell people, when you explain it like that, yes, but I can't get the Trump part. Like when I tell people, if you're talking about him as a person trying to defend that he's not racist when he's not denouncing, you know, the white nationalists and all of those guys. Now that's when I have a problem with people. Right. Like, if your views of being a conservative, I agree with you on that. But I have an issue with people that tries to defend him saying that he's not a racist, and when you're out here not denouncing hate against each other, that's my problem with it.
Yeah.
And you know what I say that
he can be a prick.
You know what I
tell you that.
You know what I say to that too.
And that's being nice.
And I've said this before. You know, neither one of these parties or independent party doesn't, need the people. And I told Larry Frank this: without the people, none of this stuff works.
None of it's
Right.
So I don't understand why the people can't come together as doesn't matter what
unite.
Doesn't matter what your ethnic background is. Come together. You know what I'm saying?
Because it'll never happen.
And
it'll never happen.
That's the sad part.
You can't change what's in a person's heart.
Right.
You can't change what's in a person's heart.
That's the sad part that you got. And the reason I say that too, it's sad because you have to choose a party over a friendship.
Well, let me say this.
And I wouldn't go ahead.
No, finish your point.
And I'm just saying, like I told D, that's something I would never do.
I would never.
I don't care. Me personally, I don't care who you vote for. I really don't.
That's your opinion.
It's your opinion. I don't care.
Yeah.
But like I said, if I call Larry Frank, hey Larry Frank, I need you, bro. This is what I need. Then I know you're gonna be there, then you're my friend. But if you're gonna just because we voted different, and you're not gonna be my friend, then you was never my friend.
Right.
Facts.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Facts.
Because let's guess what? You're never gonna meet the person you voted for, and I'm never gonna be. But you know what though? I meet Larry Frank.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And D's right. You really can't change with somebody in the heart, man.
Right.
It's just been they've been groomed since they were young. It's just like, okay, now we get back to where we started from. It's just like dating. You don't date them. You don't date them. You don't date outside your race. This you stick with your own kind. You stick with your own kind. You see what I'm saying?
Hold on. Let me say something that they did. Should keep voting beliefs private. Why is that they did? I want to know, why should you keep your voting beliefs private? I don't understand. Talk to us.
While we wait on him to answer, I want to highlight this real quick. Solomon says Angel Reese is the most abused person in sports, and that MF for Jason Whitlock wants to be white so bad he hates America.
I know.
I know
what
she's saying.
Basketball.
I know what she's saying because I know what she's saying, and I think, and I listened to the thing with Angela Reese, and I think since they like they made her the villain, so she just took on that role. She was like, I'm gonna take it on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a Batman versus Joker thing. But yeah, I don't like Jason Whitlock either. He gets on my nerves.
Well, Jason Whitlock has been doing what he's been doing. This Jason Whitlock has not started this just now. Jason Whitlock has always bashed black athletes as long as I can remember. That's why he was on Fox Sports for so long. That's just what he's done. Now you look at the situation with Ryan Clark and RG3, which I didn't know too much about what happened a few weeks ago, but just last night it started coming across YouTube, so I got into it. RG3 is another one. RG3, you can go back to what happened, I think it was like 10, 12 years ago, where Rob Parker called RG3 a cornball. So these things, I don't know why. Well, I ain't gonna say I don't know why. We know why. They're pandering to a certain base because they want to be able to stay on these networks. But here's the thing: RG3, you bashing Angel Reese, but ESPN fired you because you and your wife was up there on both ends of a I don't even know what that was, like eating something like. You just have to look at the picture. I ain't gonna even explain it. I'm not gonna even explain it. But what I wanted to say when we were talking about the political side, and I'm gonna highlight what they did said. Because when D was asking, why your voting beliefs should be kept private, he said, because people may judge you and you may lose friends. But here's my thing.
I just said it.
To their credit, and that's what I was about to say, to highlight your point that you just said.
Yeah.
If they don't rock with you no more because they don't like how you feel politically, they were never your friend to begin with. And you should not even want them as a friend.
Right.
And the problem that we have in society, and Katie says that orange piece of would send every one of us back where our ancestors are from if he could. And that's facts as well. Mm-hmm. I think where the problem comes in with political ideology is that just like Kimberly broke it down, just like Dee said, I'm the same way. I am fiscally and financially conservative because when you start talking about minimizing government, that's what conservatives want to do. I'm for that. I don't like government all up in my business. When you start talking about putting bigger taxes on the rich, on the wealthy, and the 1% to where you can give me more money in my check, I'm with that. Yeah. I am conservative in that regard as well. Right. So, but what happens is the ideology of conservatism versus liberalism has taken on just such a bad identity on both sides because of who's representing both sides.
Yeah.
Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, and I ain't trying to go political, but this is a quick topic we're going to touch on. Mm-hmm. They did not help the case. It's real talk. They didn't help the case when, 4 years ago or whatever, Joe Biden sat on the Breakfast Club, and what did he tell Charlemagne? What did he announce to Charlemagne? If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Right.
Bitch, please. I'm sorry. I get mad. My bad.
No, I got pissed off about that too.
What you mean? No, you said go.
Hey, D, did he say it,
D? We all felt the same way. We all felt the same way, right?
Yeah.
Like, bitch, please.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but when he said that, it just did it for me because it's like you're gonna insult my blackness and say that my blackness you just basically confirmed that you don't give a damn about me. You just want me to vote for you because culturally, that's what our people have been doing all these years. Go back and listen to the Malcolm X interviews back in the 60s. Malcolm X told you what the liberal wanted. He told you what the liberal did. They would come into the black communities, pander to get your votes, get in office, then they leave you hanging. He gave the blueprint way back in the early 60s. And guess what? People still falling for it.
But you know what?
That's not no more because that's how they lost this past election.
That's
People
right.
tired of it. They've caught on to what's going on.
And I have nothing against, like I said, and I've said this plenty of times, and people can testify for. I have no problem with woman in power. None.
Me either. I'm good.
But when you go on national TV and you say, and somebody asks you, what are you going to do to change? And you say nothing. You're not going to change one thing. You're not going to change one thing.
Right.
Not nothing.
Fentanyl coming.
Then how can somebody vote for you? And two, if you're just Trump this, Trump that, and you're not focusing on what the people want, you're not going to win.
That's right.
Because you're just focusing on one man instead of focusing on the world.
And you playing the same game that he's playing because the tactics that he uses, you tried to match tactic for tactic, but guess what? Anybody could have beat him. And you know what? Not only that, I fault the Democratic Party as well, because if you knew Joe Biden was not physically fit to run, if you knew his cognitive skills was in decline, you should have prepared a candidate because anybody
been prepping. Yep.
Would have been prepped. You didn't have a primary. You didn't go through the process to try to get.
You didn't go through the process, so
you didn't do none of that. You just said that, you know what, we're gonna go ahead on and let the VP go ahead. And that's how they lost the election.
Yeah. That's why. But you know what though, you can't. Sometimes you got to educate people because most people are followers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like
But now to say this, now I didn't vote for Kamala. I damn sure wasn't voting for Trump.
You did say that. You did say that.
I would
And you know what though?
vote for Trump.
You know what?
I voted third party. I voted
third
party.
independent one time. I voted independent because I was like, you know what? Nah, man, I ain't feeling this. But then I started like this round. I ain't gonna lie, I did vote for Trump this time, and I voted for Obama one time, and then you know what I'm saying. But when I voted for Trump this time, I just like I listen. You know what I mean? I listen to a lot of like qualified like YouTubers and stuff like that. I listened, and then I went back and like researched and look at it. Yeah, he right. Yeah, he right. He messed up. You know what I'm saying? So it made you lean this way because it was
a black man.
But it was for the people.
Not to cut you off though.
Yeah.
But as a black man, with him not denouncing white nationalists, racism, promote that, how I couldn't allow myself to vote for him, no matter what he said he was going to do and everything else that I probably was cool with.
Yeah, I get it.
As a black man, vote for him because of that. That's my thing.
And I get it. And I respect that.
Yeah.
Most people won't respect that.
And
you know what I mean?
I respect that too. And then but let's
now can we let me pause now. Can we get back to the topic?
To feedback off of what was just said.
I'm just
I have biracial children. Okay. Granted, none of them wanted to go to college like me. You know, high school was enough. I had one who went a year and a half and he was like, you know what? I'm done. I can make more money being out of college, which was Joseph. You know, Junior, as you call him, D.
That's my butt.
Yeah. So Trump did give money to the HBCUs, and I was glad about that because the HBCUs need money. Okay. And I've done my research. Biden, and when he got in there, they stripped that. They stripped every dime that these HBCUs were getting. And that pissed me off because they need education just as well as the next child. Especially with people like me. Another one of the reasons why my children didn't go to college, me and Joe can't afford a $40,000 college degree for 4 kids.
Shit,
that's 1 year.
They going on EBT if you ask me.
But I've done my research, and I'm gonna tell you, me and my brother were the first 2 ever to vote outside of the Democratic Party in our family. Our family on both sides, the Kemps and the Days. I've already told you the history about that. I started listening to the stories. My grandfather told me the Democratic Party started the Klan. No, there's no way, because over the years I was told it was always the Republicans. We started doing our own research, and we was like, now I get why my family was voting that way, because they, I've just done my research. But I'm gonna put it to you like, I don't trust the government. I don't trust any administration. So they gonna sell you what they want to tell you to get you in there. Like my first time voting Democrat was Obama, and I was like, I liked his speech. He did good. I praised him. Like, oh, he's gonna do good. He's gonna do good for the Black community. My children have a chance. He didn't keep up to half of what he said, and I was like, I'm very disappointed. But I'm just gonna leave it like that. But now I started voting how I feel, my beliefs, my religious beliefs, my Christ following beliefs, and money in my pocket.
Anyway, can we get back to the topic now?
So
I'm open.
We can always talk about that later.
Y'all can talk about that another time. I hate politics. Anyway.
Yeah, I hate it. It's like talking about religion. You get
any other questions? Anybody want to ask any questions about like interracial? Yeah, y'all had any more questions?
That'll be for the chat. If anybody in the chat got anything, we pretty much you guys really broke down a lot. And like I said,
like I said, it's like I said too, it's and somebody probably said it in the chat, and it still exists, and it's pretty much sad that people just can't just live their lives and just be happy. You know what I mean? No, like I said, no matter what you.
So am I allowed to ask questions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So both of you have daughters, okay? Larry Frank, I think you might have a son. How would you feel in today's modern world? I know, granted, we've grown up, we've faced it, we see it. How would you feel if your daughter brought home somebody outside their race? How would that make you feel? Would you feel the way my dad was feeling about why are you going to do this to these kids? Or would you be more accepting of it, no matter whether, I'm sorry, no matter what race they are? How would you be how being from Louisiana as well? D, I mean, you are literally miles apart from Florida, but how would that make you feel?
Both of mine have done that. Both
Okay.
my oldest daughter went to homecoming in 9th grade with a white boy. But we, to this day, he actually works with my wife. He's a cop. He always wanted to be a cop. Shout out to my bonus mom, Miss Linda. Thank you for the $10 dono, mama. He always wanted to be a cop, and he still calls my wife mama. He still calls me dad. We have a great relationship. But my daughter, it just didn't work out. I'm gonna be nice. My youngest one, she dated briefly when she was a junior. She had a brief relationship with a white boy. He was a senior. Same thing. I was cool with it. Because the thing about it, I think for me was kids are going to do what they want to do regardless. They're going to date who they want to date regardless. So there's two ways to look at it. Mm-hmm. Even if I don't like a situation, I'm going to not like a situation because of your personality. I'm not now if you're coming at my kids being disrespectful and you putting hands on them, we got a problem. That could be white, black, whatever. But I'm not going to prejudge you just because you look different from mine and say that, okay, this isn't going to work. Because, and I'll say it, I mean, they may be watching, but y'all know I don't care.
Yeah.
My current oldest daughter situation looks like her, and he ain't shit. I'm gonna say it. I don't care.
Yeah, we went through that with ours.
We've had that.
Yeah.
You know, so they can look like you and still not be worth a dime.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So all I want, and listen, even if we go down the road, now my son, he never dated outside his race. He never, not that he didn't want to, it's just that I don't think he really explored it, you know.
Right.
But my girls have done it, and if they were to, my daughter will tell you right now, my youngest daughter will tell you right now, her words, Dad, I don't want to marry a black man. Yeah. And she feels how she feels, and she's gonna probably marry and date whatever outside of her race, and that's cool with me. I just want somebody that's gonna treat you right, keep you happy, and respect you. As long as you do that,
absolutely. Yeah. And then the reason why I led to this question was because that's all I wanted growing up to hear my parents say, and they never did. It was always you're going to be a single mother. He's not going to help you take care of these kids. He's never going to marry you. Why can't you just accept them for who he is and the fact that I'm your daughter and he makes me happy? Right. You know, so that's why I asked you that question, because it really, to this day, even though I know my dad has changed and my mom has changed, and it took almost losing your life for you to realize we're all the same. You cut us, we all bleed in the same color. Mm-hmm. I needed to hear that. Yeah. Growing up.
And he's definitely
that's why I asked you that question. Yeah, so you hit it on the nail.
He's definitely changed. I tell you that.
I think also you got to look at the fact as look at our age, our proximities in age. I was younger, and I mean my kids, they're grown. I mean at this point when they were dating, I mean my daughter, that was what, 5 years ago, so I was 43.
Yeah, you mean we're the same age, yeah.
Yeah. So my oldest one, when she dated as a freshman, you see, she graduated 2014, so that would have been like 2011, which would have been 14 years ago. So I was 34.
Yeah.
So being a younger parent, I think we have a little bit more open. Our oculars are a lot more open to that type of stuff, you know. So and we come out of a different generation. So
You ain't got to that point yet.
No, he still got them young girls.
He still got them babies.
He still got them babies.
Yeah, I still got my baby.
He ain't looking forward.
Get ready.
I would advise mine, man, not to, just for the simple fact, all of the the drama that comes along with it. I wouldn't care if they ultimately did, but
Yeah.
I would definitely give them the cons of,
Right.
you ain't like your daddy. You would have to be thick-skinned and have to, endure a whole lot of things, and if you're ready for that, if you can do that, then absolutely. But that my reluctance will just come from that alone, not because I would want them to date outside their race, but that's where mine would come from.
And I don't think they would, and
Yeah, I don't
honestly,
care.
I don't think they would get as much backlash if you had boys. Because if you had boys to do it, I think they'd get more backlash versus a female.
But see, I did it in high school. So,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. I could deal with it. Like, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because like you said, a lot of it was not said to our face if they didn't agree with it. The stuff
Right.
was said on the, so yeah, like with your girls, it's totally different. Because if a man did say something to them to disrespect them in any type of way,
it's on and popping.
Yeah.
I'm just a different dude now, man. I don't want to have to ever revert to who I used to be.
Right.
So,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of the people that maybe your children date, they don't understand that. Like, you really don't understand. Yeah, we may be older, but we are a different breed. You follow what I'm saying? And I don't think the younger generation, like, some of them don't understand that when they're dating your child. It's different. It's very different.
That part.
So, we're very different than, like,
shout out to Jordan Bernard. He's in the building, man. Shout out to Jordan Bernard. He's in the building, man. Yeah, over on TikTok, man. That's my little wardy, man. Shout out to Jordan. That's my little wardy.
He on TikTok. My son on TikTok.
Oh my God. Yeah. He over on TikTok, man. Shout out to Jordan, man.
That's that baby boy.
Yeah.
I want to say this right quick because
man, you gotta laugh at the emoji behind.
I want to say this right quick, and we're gonna wrap it up in a little bit because we all got to get back to this stuff. But I want to go back. Last point I want to make. I want to go back to the bash. We were all at Dee's house. Dee's cooking. Everybody's chilling.
Right.
And for those in the chat that don't know, when I tell you Kimberly shocked the shit out of me, because I think you was more mad at Miami than I was.
Oh, I'm a diehard Miami fan. Like, oh.
I didn't expect Kimberly to be as vocal. Like, I'm sitting there and we having problems.
Yeah.
And I look across and I see Kimberly over there watching the TV. Like, God damn it, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, wow.
I love it.
Yeah, let me go ahead and tell you, man. I'm gonna tell you, like when when they start like declining and stuff like that, she'll be like, "Hey, the game is on." I'll be out there cutting grass. I'll be like, "Yeah, okay, I'll be in a minute, whatever." You know what I mean? But then I go in there, man, and then I'll be like, "Oh man, I'm going back outside." Here they come. Here they come. I hear them in there. I'm telling you, bro, she is worse than anybody in the family. You don't get in front of the TV. You shut up. You don't say nothing.
Don't call me.
Don't call. Don't do nothing, bro. I'm telling you.
Right.
She is, bro, like, bro. I mean, when I say 100 and whatever Canes fan,
I'll argue you. I will argue something. Me and my dad and my brother get into it all the time.
They're Bama fans. They're Bama fans.
And we'll get into it. Oh, they're like, what
so in her family, there's us, and then like her mom's a Seminole. She ain't got no fight in the teapot, whatever. No. So, and then her dad, he's her dad, her brother,
and Stephanie, and
her sister, she don't know nothing because
she don't know nothing about
they scored a touchdown. She say home run, so she don't know nothing. So
yeah.
so there you go. That's Bama for you. So
what?
So we all just looked at her like
what?
That's a touchdown, right? Bama is not playing baseball tonight. So yeah, so she said home run. So then they got Gator fans in their family too. So half of them all losers anyway. So ain't but one real chick.
But they talk about me. They
Right.
talk about me because I love my
I tell them like
canes.
this. This is what I tell
I
them,
love
D.
my canes.
I tell them like this. Y'all didn't start winning really until Saban came in there because you was at the bottom of the barrel.
When Bear Bryant left, there was nothing.
You went
nothing
down.
until
You
Saban
went
came
down.
in.
So
Yeah.
please don't come in here. When Nick Saban came there, he helped y'all.
Right.
Without Nick Saban, y'all don't win nothing.
Oh yeah, I'll
Guarantee it.
I'll fight. I won't fight you, but I'm gonna argue like a grown man. I will argue a grown man over my cane.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to tell you. I'll be like, hey, D. I'll be like, D, I got to calm her down, D, because she work. I'm telling y'all, man, she worse than me.
Ain't no more. Hey, that's right. That's right. That's what she's supposed to be.
It's on and popping. So, well,
But
y'all.
yeah, man. I appreciate. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I just want to thank y'all for taking the time to join us.
Thank you for having us.
Oh man, it's
know,
good, man.
You know, and what I like to do is, you know, before we get out of here, give everybody the opportunity to give their departing words. So I'm gonna start off with our guest of honor, JB, Miss Kimberly. Give some departing words for the people.
Well, I'm gonna say, you know, no matter who you are, just don't judge nobody by the color of their skin. You know what I mean? Date who you want to date. Don't worry about the backlash, because you know what? No matter whether you date in your race, out your race, there's gonna be backlash. So you know what I'm saying? You date whoever's that's gonna make you, that's gonna complete you. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's in your heart, that's who you date. Don't worry about what the outside noise. Who is that?
Hey, Kim, Miss Katie had something to say
Miss
to you,
Katie.
Kim.
What she
She
say?
said I can't. My glasses.
She
Canes.
said,
ain't
sorry,
look,
winning.
Kim, Canes ain't winning
Oh.
squat with Mario on the sideline. Look, we I think D, we doing a show Friday night, right? Are we or not?
Hey,
We gonna win something, damn it.
hey,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna disagree with him because long as he on the sideline, line.
I ain't disagreeing either.
That part.
That's
that part.
D, line.
That part. That part, bro.
I
For
am worried
real.
about. I am worried about whatchamacallit. I don't even want to say his name. I don't know why they chose him. But anyways, my final thoughts. Love who you want to love. It will be hard. It's not, the racism and the prejudice is not going anywhere. It's biblical speaking. It will make your skin tougher. But be happy and know your worth. Don't settle.
Yeah.
And set your goals, set your dreams. And as long as you keep God in the center of your relationships, in you, whether it's marriage, just a relationship, business relationship, friendship, as long as you can keep God in the center of it, because I'm gonna tell you, that is what kept us together. I'm not gonna lie, because there's so many times I mean, was it worth it? Is it worth it? How much longer do I have to put up with it? And I'm not talking about Joe, I'm talking about the outside world. And so just love who you want to love. You can't help who you fall in love with. You will need tough skin. It will make you strong. Keep God centered in your relationships. Set boundaries, set standards, and it will be okay. Despite what family says, friendship says, outsiders say. Just set your goals, set your boundaries, keep God centered in it. And I mean, look, we get 30 years proof here. It wasn't easy, but we got 30 years proof that it can happen despite of this right here and this right here. And I will tell you, if you don't have the backbone to defend your children for all means necessary, then it's not a good idea, because they do suffer. They do suffer. And I'm just glad that my children are strong and they can handle their own now. And now it's just about my grandbaby. You talking about my grandbabies? Ooh, Lord Jesus, don't even get me on that one, because y'all ain't gonna think I'm a Christ follower if I start talking about that. Them grandbabies. But yeah, that's it. Strong goals. Don't settle. Make standards for yourself. and it'll work out. We've got 30 years proof of that.
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Go ahead, D. Give some departing words before we get out of here.
Hey man, same old man. We want to thank Miss Kimberly and Mr. Joseph Bernard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciated
Thank you
it.
so much. We appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
The show was real talk, man. Shout out to Larry Frank Jr., man, for doing a great job, man, hosting the show. Shout out to our lovely sister, Miss Shy Blue, who couldn't be with us tonight. She's traveling, so she'll be back on the next show. I was sitting in for her tonight, and Larry said it, man. We're gonna start by cranking the sports side of the show up here this Friday. We're gonna start by going like once a week. We're gonna try to go once a week, but no more than every 2 weeks. We're gonna be coming back now with the sports show. We're getting back just about that time again for Miami Hurricanes football, so we're gonna start talking Canes football again. So no, man, I appreciate it. You know, you having me on the show tonight, Larry Frank. I thank you, man. Joseph Bernard.
Yes, sir.
Kim, we appreciate having you guys on. I love y'all, and
Yes, sir.
we'll see
Love
you
you,
guys
bro.
on Friday
Love you
night.
too.
Everybody have a great weekend. And
You
take care of
too.
yourself. Y'all already know what it is,
Always.
man. They can talk over here.
Thanks for having us.
Most definitely, most definitely. And there ain't nothing much more I can say. Everything's already been echoed with everybody. I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you again to you two for joining us, D. Thank you for riding shotgun with me tonight. And shouts out to everybody for rocking with us. And if the Lord says the same, in 2 weeks, we'll be back with another real talk topic. And if you ain't got nothing going on Friday night, come on through. We're gonna talk some Hurricane football. So
Yes,
everybody
sir.
have a great week. Stay prayed up, stay safe. Y'all know how we start every show. Hey, D, we ain't got to train these two. They know how to do it. Y'all know how we start every show.
Hey.
Every time we got guests, we got to show them how to do it. They know how to do it. So, hey,
That's right.
man. Second
Well, yeah, if you don't know, now you know.
Hey, real quick, Larry Frank.
Go
This
ahead.
better not be true because I got to call my nephew, man. I think I got the phone, but he told me that somebody. He said my sister is a low key Florida State fan, man. That's what my nephew Jordan said. So I'm gonna have to talk to him, man. Yeah.
Not in this house.
Yeah, now put it on Front Street over here on TikTok, man. They'll say
No.
she a low key Florida State fan.
Now look.
Hey, dog,
You done just
listen.
started some family drama
Hey,
live on Real Talk.
Hey, listen, dog, listen.
I ain't got no Florida
Listen,
State
dog.
nothing on me.
Let me go ahead and get that straight real quick. She was adopted, dog. We don't roll like that over here. Ain't but one tomahawk person in the family. That's her mom. We don't get down like that. She was adopted. Over here, you got to wear these. You ain't wearing that on. You ain't coming over here. Hey,
Shout out to our brother too, Wayne Foster on TikTok. Shout out to Wayne Foster.
Hey, D. That was one of the stipulations of getting married. You had to be a king.
It looks like y'all gonna have to have a discussion because something definitely done came out.
No, we ain't got to discuss nothing, baby.
So I used to like watching Dion play. Dion was great.
Hey,
He
baby.
was a great player.
Hey, look, move your head. There ain't nothing back there but that you, baby. That's all in here.
But I love the Canes. I mean,
Nah, she
I
doesn't.
was 8, but I love Dion was a great player, so I would watch him. But I was always cheering for my orange and green.
Absolutely.
Jordan over here
choice.
trolling.
Y'all see
Jordan
that?
trolling.
Yeah, he trolling.
Trolling. Oh, yeah, man. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
He's trying to piss me off. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
she-
Y'all gonna be up
Trying to
there.
piss-
She gonna be mad when we get over here.
He's trying to piss me off.
Look like he succeeded. Well, look, y'all. Once again, thank y'all, and we'll be back with more shows. Be on the lookout.
Yeah.
And y'all know how we start every show. Y'all know how we end every show. Ain't no us. Throw it up. Tell them, y'all.
Without
you, baby.
Without you, baby. Yeah. And we out. We love you. Take care.
It's you talk, baby.
It's Real Talk
Oh, man.
on YouTube. Boy.
From the heart of the city to the edge of the world, telling stories of black kings and queens.
It's you talk, baby.
Every topic, every voice, like a new kind of pearl. Shining light on truths to make the future swirl. It's Real Talk, baby. baby. El Frank and Shy Blue coming through, baby. Real topics, real stuff for the people, baby. Buckle up and let's roll with real talk, baby. It's real talk, baby. It's real talk, baby. It's real talk, baby. And it ain't no me without you, baby. It's you talk, baby. And it ain't no me without you, baby. From the heart of the city to the edge of the world.
It's you talk, baby.
Black kings and queens, but both in a fur.